Hey, and welcome here to my new video about the beautiful island of Koh Lanta. I actually did a similar video around a year ago in German language, so this is basically the English version, but even better in 4K and also with a lot better footage. So it could be even interesting for the Germans that already watched the other video. The video will be around 30 to 40 minutes long, I think. So if you haven't that time yet, then please hit the pause button right now and add it to your watch later list, or however it's called in English, and then you can watch it in the evening or whenever you have time. I was actually sorry in advance, I'm already a bit sweaty. I was filming one video before for around 15 minutes. It's around 9 o'clock in the morning right now, and it's already getting pretty hot here on Koh Lanta. We have beginning of March, and yeah, so I think I will get even more sweatier over the video. Yeah, but let's get started with that. Let's first watch a nice intro here of Koh Lanta so that you can already see the beauty of this island. So why Koh Lanta? What makes this island so special and beautiful? There are a lot of islands here in Thailand, and every single island is a little bit different from the other one. And so what makes Koh Lanta pretty specific is that it's still a pretty quiet island. I mean, there is a lot of tourism here, and that is also good because you find everything here you want to have as a tourist. Apart from Apple stores and so on, here's no shopping center, but that's also good. So you get stuff done and you spend less money on stuff you don't need. But even with all the tourism that's going on here, the island is still pretty quiet. And also, especially in low season, you always find beaches that are completely empty. Like right now here, I'm on one extremely nice beach that I just found a week ago. And I will not tell you the name of the beach right now, because this beach, like, over the day, when I was here, there was a maximum of 3 other people, and they usually don't stay as long too. So most of the time this beach here is completely out of people. It's completely empty. Very nice, and it's also extremely beautiful. So I want that this beach actually stays like that. Here shouldn't come so much tourists, and I know, and everyone knows that a lot of more tourists would come here, which would destroy the feeling of that beach. So I will not tell the name of that beach exactly, but I will leave you some breadcrumbs over the video. So if you're one of the persons that actually watch the complete video, that is so interested in Koh Lanta that, yeah, the video is important for you, then you will definitely know where this beach is at the end of the video. But back to topic here. So yeah, like, just a quick summary here. Koh Lanta is just a very peaceful, quiet island, and so it's more for people that are not looking for this huge party tourism. I mean, you can have some smaller parties here, like in the Freedom or in the Mushroom Bar or so on, but it's not an island that you would go to if you want to have a crazy big party or so on. And Koh Phangan with a full moon party or Phi Phi Island are much better options. So this island is more for people that, yeah, want to have some chilled out time, or for families, or also for couples, maybe honeymoon or something. It's also a good island for that. And yeah, it's also nice just to calm down, get relaxed a bit after all the stress of your work at home and so on. So that's my recommendation here. It's my favorite island for that. There are definitely other islands in Thailand also that are even more quiet maybe. But what I like about Koh Lanta is that I can still get everything I need here, because here are a lot of restaurants. Like, you can barely walk for 5 minutes without seeing at least one or maybe more restaurants. There are a lot of shops. You have 7-Eleven, you have really everything here you need. So, and it's still quiet. So this is what I really like here. It's a good mixture of everything. Another good reason to choose Koh Lanta are also the locals here. As you probably recognized when you visited Thailand already, is that the more touristy it gets, usually the locals are not that nice anymore like in other areas. And yeah, I mean, they are still nice, they are not unfriendly or something, but it's more like a bit westernized or something, I don't know how to explain. And here in Koh Lanta, it's actually the locals are still pretty nice, like you expected a Thai to be. It's a nice experience, and I have one nice story here about that. I was actually losing my motorbike key one day at the beach. I'm not sure anymore if I lost it when I was lying down in the sand or something, or if I accidentally took it in my shorts and lost it in the ocean. I'm not sure anymore. But yeah, I was walking around looking for the key, watching down, and there were locals sitting like 50 meters away from me before, and they were, I think, playing cards or something. And when I was walking around there and looking for my keys, suddenly looked up and saw all the locals that were sitting there before walking around me and also looking for my key. And then one guy looked up to me and said, "Ha, lost key?" Yeah, I said lost key. And he, okay, help you. So they all were standing up instantly without me saying anything, and they recognized that I'm searching for something, and they tried to help me there just automatically. I think I would never experience something like that in my home country, Germany or so on. So that really makes this place unique. I know it's not just about Koh Lanta, it's in a lot of places in Thailand, the locals are like that. But Koh Lanta is still one of the more touristy places where you can have such a nice experience. So, but what about the weather and the climate of Koh Lanta? When should you actually go here? I've been here many times on that island. Right now it's, I think, my 5th time or something, so pretty much. And this time alone I stayed 2 months. Last time I was here, yeah, 2 times 2 months, and before like some weeks. It's just, I was here so much and over various seasons. So I experienced the low season, like the rainy season and so on. Also the high season like it is now. And yeah, I would say the real best season to go to Koh Lanta is from December to April. But April and also end of March, it can already get extremely hot here. Like one time, I'm not sure anymore, maybe it was 35 or 40 degrees or something in the shadow. I don't know exactly. I just know that I was sitting right in front of a fan working, and after 3 hours or so, I was completely wet. So I would say better go here before mid of March, because after that it can get a bit too hot. And yeah, like start going here from December if you want to have the real best weather. But what I also need to say here is that rainy season is also not always completely bad. You can easily go here in rainy season, especially in October, November. My experience is that you have like 1 shower per day for 1 or 2 hours, and then it stops and it's good. So the main thing that I don't like about Koh Lanta in that season is that the water is not that clear anymore. So right now you can really see all the stones in the water and so on. It's just very beautiful. But in the rainy season, it looks a bit more dirty, the water, and yeah, it's not that nice anymore. But the island itself is pretty nice then, because it's even more empty. Like on most beaches there are no people at all, or even just 1 or 2 people or something. It's really nice in that season. It's extremely calm here. And yeah, so if you're up for that, if like having the most beautiful water is not the most important thing for you, then you can also easily go here in rainy season, at least in October, November. So I personally didn't make much experiences with the other months, but it can be that you have really huge rains like all day long. I had it one time, I'm not sure exactly anymore, but maybe September or beginning of October it was like that, and there we only had rain here all day long. That was really shit then. But it's always like, I would suggest everyone that travels to Thailand is to don't book much in advance, just maybe for the first 1 or 2 days, because you never know, like when it's raining in one part of Thailand, it may be that it doesn't rain in the other part of Thailand. So if you're forced to make your holiday in one of the rainy season months from Koh Lanta, you can just go here, watch the local weather report or ask some locals where the weather is good right now. If it's good then on Koh Lanta, like one short shower per day, just go here. If not, then you have a lot of other options to go. So that's for when to go here. So quick summary, best time to go here is from December to March, at least end of March. And yeah, the other months, it's up to you. It's a little bit of risk, but yeah, it can also be very nice. Then it's also the question how you actually go to Koh Lanta. There are multiple ways to go there, and I would say the easiest one is to go over Krabi. Krabi has an airport, so you can easily go to Krabi, and from the airport to here it's around, I would say, 3 hours. Yeah, 3 hours is a good time for that. It really depends a bit on the ferry, because sometimes you have a long traffic jam in front of the ferry, especially in the afternoon. So then it takes a bit longer, of course. But especially when you go in the morning, then it should be fine and you should easily be done after 3 hours, in my opinion. And actually the transport from the airport from Krabi to Koh Lanta is also quite cheap. I think it cost me 500 or 600 baht, wasn't that expensive. And you can also go from Krabi, like Krabi town or Ao Nang to here for around 300, 400 baht. Also same from here to Krabi. And yeah, the other options would be to go from Phuket. Phuket, yeah, it is okay, but you have to go by a ferry, which takes around 2.5 hours. And I would say that especially in low season, it can happen on the ferry that you have a lot of really big waves and the ferry is really shaking like crazy. Like I was one time going here by ferry from Phuket and we were like standing on the water like 45 degrees or something, and I really thought, okay, that's it, the boat will go under now. Luckily it did not. So for rainy season, I would definitely say it's much safer to go here over Krabi, because there most of the time you're in a van and you're only on a very short ferry for 10 minutes and it's a car ferry, so it cannot just go under or something. And even if, you can easily swim to the mainland again, so that's a lot safer. And actually Phuket is more expensive to go here, because like the ferry actually is like 500, 600 baht also. It's not that expensive. Maybe even less, I'm not sure anymore, it's a long time ago. But you have to go from the airport or from wherever you stay on Phuket to the pier, and that's also cost more money, especially from getting from the airport costs a lot of money, because I don't know, they just charge high prices there. And yeah, the next option would be to go over Koh Lipe or Langkawi. Langkawi is an island in Malaysia. So if you come from Malaysia, that could be an option for you. I think there's a direct speedboat from Langkawi. When I did that tour from Langkawi to Koh Lanta, it wasn't there, but I think I recently saw something like that on the internet, where you were able to go from Langkawi to Koh Lanta in one day. So like 2 years ago, it was like that you had to stay overnight on Koh Lipe and then go the next day to Koh Lanta when you were on Langkawi before. But also if your original plan was to go to Koh Lipe, then yeah, after Koh Lipe you can also easily go to Koh Lanta. And exactly the same goes when you're in the complete south of Thailand, maybe Hat Yai or something. You can either go over Krabi there by van directly, or you can also take a ferry to Koh Lipe and then go over Koh Lipe to Koh Lanta. Actually would recommend that, because Koh Lipe is also a very beautiful island. So that are the three main options to go to Koh Lanta. So over that way, it doesn't matter where you are in Thailand, if you're in Bangkok, Chiang Mai or wherever, just go to Phuket or Krabi and go here. My tip for Krabi is that to book the flight from Bangkok, Chiang Mai or wherever you are directly to Krabi, because let's say you're at home and maybe you're in Germany or you're in the US or whatever, and you would book a flight directly to Krabi, it's usually more expensive than if you would book a flight from your home country to Bangkok, for instance, and then book a next flight to Krabi, because the flights from Bangkok to Krabi, they are usually between 30 and 50 US dollars. And yeah, when you would book the flight directly to Krabi, it's usually way more expensive. So just a little tip here to save a bit of money there. But really watch for the airport, especially in Bangkok, because in Bangkok there are two airports. There's the Suvarnabhumi airport and the Don Mueang airport. And the Don Mueang is only for domestic flights as far as I know. So really watch for if they're standing DMK or BKK, because maybe you have to switch the airports then when you arrive in Bangkok. And if you don't have enough time to switch the airports, you get into problems. So keep that in mind when booking your flights. And when you arrive here in Koh Lanta, I'm pretty sure that you want to have some kind of accommodation. You probably don't want to sleep on the beach, even if that looks pretty nice here. My view is pretty good right now. And yeah, there are plenty of options here on that island. You find a lot of hotels, you have bungalows, also bungalows directly in front of the beach, like nice resorts and so on. So you have a big variety here. You can, so my recommendation would be to watch first on booking.com. If you find a really good deal there, like a daily deal or something, then you can book it there. If not, I would say it's better to just look for on booking.com or another website for let's say 3 to 5 accommodations that you like and that have some free rooms in the time where you want to go there, and then you go to that rooms directly. So the way how I do it always is that I book a motorbike or scooter directly at the pier when I arrive there in Saladan. This is in the north of Koh Lanta, and then I go to the places that I think would be nice to stay there by motorbike, and let me show the rooms and try also to bargain a bit to get a good price, because I mostly rent monthly, and for me there are a bit more options to do something on the price, but also for you it can work. I would say in Thailand it's normal to bargain a bit, and so yeah, why not just go there and ask for a bit cheaper price. You can usually save a bit there, especially compared to booking.com or other websites, because the hotels or resorts have to pay commission to them, and so you will at least save the commission when you ask for that. And yeah, I mean, if you want to have a real peace of mind and you don't care so much about the money, then of course just book in advance, look what you like, but also look about the reviews. And if you want to know where to stay on the island, I would say the best part of the island to stay is definitely the western part, because the east part there's not so much going on. It's nice to go there for 1 or 2 days to see Old Town and so on, but the most stuff is going on the west side, on the west coast of the island. And it doesn't really matter if you stay more north or more in the south. In the middle of the island, it's especially in low tide, there are more rocks in the water, so it's harder to swim there. It's not that very nice anymore, but even there you have a lot of spots where you can have a good swim. But in my opinion, the best beaches, the most beautiful beaches are in the south of the island, especially in the national park. Of course, you cannot stay in the national park, but so if that's really important for you, better stay in the south. And yeah, but actually like beaches like Long Beach or so on in the north are also nice beaches, but there are also a lot more people. And yeah, I just like the south more, but it's up to you. Just watch some of my videos here and maybe watch some pictures on the internet of all the beaches. I won't list all the names here. I mean, you couldn't you couldn't research them all, but so just get a map of Koh Lanta. Just when you type in Koh Lanta map, you will find enough, and you can just look for yourself for the beaches what match your preferences the most. So you're probably very interested in what activities you can do here on Koh Lanta, and yeah, like you can see here, one of the best activities here that a lot of people do is just sitting on the beach and relax. And yeah, there are plenty of beaches for that, like I already mentioned before, but of course you can do a lot of other stuff. And my first recommendation here would be to rent a scooter and just explore the island. You have to be a bit careful. There are a lot of holes in the streets here on the island. The streets are really not very good. But on the other side, there is also not that much traffic on that island. So I would say it's still pretty safe to drive here. Of course, especially in high season, you should watch a bit for some cars that are taking over pretty fast. It can happen sometimes. So try to stay a bit more on the outside of the street. And then you're pretty safe here usually. If you're not, if you don't feel that comfortable, then better just drive slowly. But I mean, that's logically right. And yeah, so when you explore the island, of course, one of the first things you should do is to drive completely to the south of the island, to the national park. Be a bit careful there, because the streets look like you can just follow the streets like one way and you automatically land in the south, and that's not the case. At one point you need to turn right to stay to the south, otherwise you will land on the east side of the island pretty fast. It happened to me when I was here the first time. So you can see that on the map. I will display it here if I find a map that's for free, and otherwise just watch on the Koh Lanta map and you will see where you need to turn right. You can also use Google Maps pretty easily and just set a marker in the south. And yeah, there in the south of the island there's the national park, and this is just very beautiful. There's a beautiful beach with some, I don't know, it's like palm trees, like smaller palm trees, and there are some fruits that look a bit like pineapple in there. And inside these trees there are monkeys a lot. I mean, be a bit careful with the monkeys. They are pretty aggressive and they sometimes try to open your bag and steal something. So be a bit careful with that. It's always better if a friend of you watch for the bag, so you switch who goes in the water and who stays there. But like just a few there is pretty nice, especially if you lie there and you see the monkeys above you and so on. I just like it there. And there's also the lighthouse there that looks extremely nice on the cliff, especially when you have good weather. And you can also do a small hike there if you want to. There are also some, or not just some, but a lot of nice beaches in the south on the way to there. So check that out as well. There's also a nice restaurant on top of a cliff, and actually like 2 minutes down there's a beach, so the view from there is just amazing. And other parts that you should definitely visit when you explore the island is Old Town, so the east part of the island. There you can also drive a bit more north. There, when you turn right at one point, you come to like a village. They call it village or something, but it's like a some people living in the mangroves there, and that's pretty interesting. They have boats tours and so on, but you can also do a short hike there just to see some part of the mangroves. It's pretty interesting. And if you drive completely to the southeast of the island, it's also nice if you can, because you can walk to another island, a pretty small one that's in front of Koh Lanta. And yeah, it's a nice view there. You have a lot of shadows there. It doesn't really matter where the sun is, because the island is so small that when the sun goes around, you always have a shadow on the other side. So it's pretty nice to stay a day there. Also, some good things that you can do when exploring this island is at first the two caves that's here on this island. There's a tiger cave and another one. And I would say the tiger cave, they are both pretty nice, but the tiger cave is much smaller and it's more that sun from the outside comes in, so it's more like an open cave. But the other one is extremely nice. Actually, in one room inside this cave, it felt a bit like in a church, and it was so big. I don't have footage of that because yeah, there's no light in there. It would just, I wouldn't get good usable shots there, but it's definitely worth to check it out. The first cave, not the tiger cave, you should definitely do with a guide. When you go to that point, there is actually a small house where you can start a tour. I think they start tours like every 1 or 2 hours or so. So just go there and look for a guide there. They will offer that, I think, for around 300 Thai baht. And for the tiger cave, you can do it with a guide, because there's one part of that cave where you actually have to crawl through a hole full of water. It's so adventurous there, and there it's better to have a guide, because otherwise you probably won't find that and miss some part of the cave then. but you can also do it by yourself. You won't get lost in that cave. And yeah, the other things that you can do is to visit the waterfall. It's not far away from the caves. Actually just look for it on Google Maps and you will find it instantly. And there's also elephant riding here on Koh Lanta, so my advice here is to don't do that. Probably seen already on Facebook or so on that elephant riding is really not good for the elephants. They are also not treated well in those camps usually. So if you want to do something with elephants, don't do that on Koh Lanta, please. Please go to Chiang Mai, for instance. There are those elephant sanctuaries that actually rescue the elephants. There you can spend very nice days making a hike or go taking a bath or so with the elephants. It are very nice days. I love that experience, but don't do elephant riding, so don't visit the elephants here on Koh Lanta. If you actually want to help some animals here on Koh Lanta, then please visit the Lanta Animal Welfare. You can volunteer there to help them. Also, you can spend some money there to help the animals. What they do is they rescue mostly cats and dogs here on the island, especially straining dogs and so on, that don't have a home. And they give those animals medical treatment there and also food and stuff so that they feel good again. And they also try to give those animals a new home so that they have a good life again. So definitely worth checking that out. You can also visit the animal welfare and just see the animals there. They are pretty inviting, so just go there and maybe volunteer. So that's for what you can usually do on the island itself, but there are also a lot of tours that you can do, and the tour that I would really recommend for you first when you go here on the island is to do the 4 Island tour. First reason, because you get a really great snorkeling, and the second is because there is the Emerald Cave included in that tour, and the Emerald Cave is just amazing. It's actually a beach inside a rock that is open to the sky, so you can see the sky from that beach, but you can only access this beach through a cave that's to the open ocean. So you swim around 90 meters or so through that cave, and then you are inside this rock with that beautiful beach and you can actually see the sky. It's a pretty amazing place. So that's the main 2 reasons to do the 4 Island tour. It's very nice. You can get it with a longtail boat for around 800 baht. And it's also the lunch included, so that makes it even cheaper. When it comes to snorkeling, next good activity that you can do is a trip to Koh Rock and Koh Ha. It's usually with speedboat, costs around 1,500 to 1,700 baht, which is a lot more, and I would actually say better do the 4 Island tour, because the snorkeling is definitely better on the 4 Island tour. Another thing that you can do also then is to go kayaking here. Kayaking is at the mangroves. I didn't do it by myself right now, but I spoke to some people that do it and everyone liked it. So it's definitely a nice tour. And the mangroves, I've been there like in the east of the island and also on Koh Lanta Noi, which is the north part of the island when you drive over the bridge. And like I saw the mangroves there and it looks just incredible, so a kayaking tour must definitely be awesome. And also, like mentioned before, when it comes to mangroves, you can also do a boat tour through the mangroves, but I think the kayaking tour would be a better experience. Then also for snorkeling, you can do a day trip to Phi Phi Island. From here there's the famous Maya Bay that's actually not that nice anymore. It's just overcrowded with tourists and boats. But on Phi Phi Island you also find very good snorkeling, and the island itself looks incredibly nice. So if you don't want to stay on Phi Phi Island to avoid all the party tourists and so on, then that could be a good option for you if you still want to see Phi Phi Island. So that were the main activities that you can do here on Koh Lanta. Of course, you can also rent a snorkel and find some spots around the island of Koh Lanta directly, but I would say the snorkeling directly at Koh Lanta is not as good as on the 4-island tour, for example. But especially on the beach where I am right now, and you can find this beach on Google Maps. It's on the west side of the island. There I saw some barracudas and a lot of nice other fish already. So actually on that beach here is also a good spot, or one of the better spots on Koh Lanta directly to snorkel. So yeah, it's just to leave a little breadcrumb here. But of course, that are just the unique activities here for the island. You can do a lot more, especially when it comes to sport. There are some gyms here on the island, so if you want to stay here longer and still want to keep your workout routine, that's easy to do for you. They also have Muay Thai here, Thai boxing. They have a calisthenics workout gym, like a street workout stuff they have here. And yeah, like I said before, they also have a special hotel with a gym and stuff. So if you're into sports, you have a lot of options here. I also see a lot of people running here. Actually, 1 year ago I was running here as well, so that's good. Especially in the morning, it's pretty good for running here, because then the climate is usually pretty good. It's not that hot then, and yeah, just good for running. And then also a lot of people do yoga and meditation here. Here's yoga right at the beach at some places. Pretty nice, did it as well, very good in the morning. Also you find some meditation classes here. So for the spiritual people, they also find everything here they need. And if you're not that spiritual, if you're more into nightlife stuff, you will also find some option here. Like I said before, it's not like big partying like on other islands here in Thailand. But you will find plenty of bars here, especially on Saturday and Sunday. On Saturday there is usually a party in the Freedom Bar. On Sunday is usually a party in the Mushroom Bar. And so if you want to connect a bit more or just get drunk, then you can do that here as well, of course. The next big topic I want to talk about here, and that's actually a big topic for me, or an important topic for people like me, that is what options do you have here on Koh Lanta for work and travel. And yeah, one pretty nice thing is that on this island is actually a pretty good co-working space with solid internet and food and displays, everything you need. It's called the Koh Hub. So I will leave the link to the website in the descriptions below. You can just check it out. That's a really good place for that. And of course you also find plenty of cafes where you can work from. But I must actually say that a lot of those cafes here don't have plugs or something. So you're a bit limited with what you choose. So I usually go to Peak Cafe in the morning, but even there is only one place where you actually have access to a plug connector. Luckily that place is usually free when I go there. So yeah, that's just my best option. But if there are a bit more people, then it could also be a problem. Yeah, but yeah, if you don't necessarily need a plug, you can also check out a lot of cafes here. And yeah, the next thing, if you want to work and travel or do something like volunteering, like I mentioned before, is the Lanta animal welfare. You can help out there, and I don't know exactly how the program works, but maybe you get something like accommodation and food for free or something. Just check out the website and you will find all the information there. I will also leave the link to that in the description below. What could be a problem here for some people who work online is that sometimes here in Koh Lanta are power cuts. It happens nearly weekly. And on one part it's good when you have access to the co-working space, because they use their own generator. So and they get internet from Krabi. So in the case that there's a power cut on that island, it won't affect you when you're in Koh Hub. But when you don't want to go to Koh Hub, then it could be a problem, because of course when there's a power cut, then also you don't have Wi-Fi anymore at your place. And my solution for that is to use an AIS SIM card. Of course there are some other providers, but AIS is just the internet provider here with the fastest speed. And also they have an option for unlimited internet, so you get unlimited internet with 6 megabytes per second. It's megabytes, not bits. And yeah, for me, for what I need, it's perfect. Like even I upload my videos usually through the SIM card, and like most of my videos are around 1 gigabyte big, and it takes around 25 to 30 minutes to upload that. Of course it could be much faster, but I mean, the waiting time of 30 minutes, if I just in a cafe or something, it always works. It's not too long, so that's good for me. And also my main business is web design, so web design with 6 megabyte per second is totally fine. I never got any problems with that. Insects. So AIS is definitely my SIM card provider of choice here, and they actually have a shop in the north of Koh Lanta at Saladan. It's called AIS Buddy, and you can easily find it on Google Maps. And the good thing is also that when you run out of balance or your monthly subscription is over, that you can easily top that up in Tesco Lotus. And Tesco Lotus shops are everywhere in Thailand, so even if you don't find an AIS shop, you definitely have an option to top up your internet. So that were basically all the most important information I have here about Koh Lanta, about this beautiful island. But what to do after Koh Lanta? I mean, a lot of people that go to Thailand are backpackers, or at least people that want to see a bit more than one place, not having the usual hotel holiday. So what can you do after that? Yeah, it's actually like the places that you can easily choose to go to Koh Lanta are also the good places to do after Koh Lanta. So the first place I want to recommend here is definitely Koh Lipa, which is close to the Malaysian border. Around, I think, a 2 or 3 hour drive by speedboat from Koh Lanta. They offer that direct transfer here. And like Koh Lipa is a pretty nice island. It's gets pretty full in high season, of course. It's also not a big island, but it's incredibly beautiful. You have nice beaches there, nice rocks, everyone likes it, so check it out. And another far less popular option that I would recommend to do, but it's not for everyone, is to go in the very south of Thailand to Hat Yai. Hat Yai is a city with basically no tourism. Of course there are a lot of Chinese, and there are also some teachers from Western countries, but there is really no Western tourism at all. Like when I was there, I think I was there for 5 days, and in those 5 days I only saw 2 people from Western countries. So seriously, if you want to get a real experience of Thailand, go to Hat Yai. And it's like you can go from here over Krabi by a direct transfer via van. Or you can also first go to Koh Lipa, and then from Koh Lipa with a ferry to the mainland, and from there you can take a van to Hat Yai. But you have to organize that trip completely by yourself, because it's not like on Koh Lanta or other touristy places in Thailand, where you actually find tourist shops everywhere where you can book everything. But there you really have to look for yourself and really book and organize everything by yourself. But you find all the information easily on your internet when you Google for that, so it's not that complicated to do. Then the third option to do after Koh Lanta is to go to the beautiful Krabi. I love that place. I mean, it's totally touristy, And yeah, the locals are definitely not as nice as on Koh Lanta, even if they are still nice there. But like Krabi itself looks so amazing. The beaches are okay, but you have those big cliffs everywhere, even on the mainland, and it just looks incredible nice. And also on the way to Krabi you find the emerald pool and the hot waterfall and so on, which is also incredible beautiful. I actually published a video last week about that trip, and it's just amazing there. So if you want to go to a place that's closer to an airport or something, and yeah, you just want to see some beautiful nature, then Krabi is definitely a good option. And yeah, the other thing you can also do is to go to Phuket or to Phi Phi Island. It's a bit more a party place, but it has also a lot of nice things to see. Also, you can do nice snorkeling trips from Phuket, for instance, to the Similan Islands, which is pretty nice. And yeah, there are also a lot of options to go. And the good thing of all those places, Krabi, Phi Phi Island and Phuket, is that you can easily go there by ferry or by van. So Krabi is by van and ferry for Phi Phi Island and Phuket. And it's actually the same ferry for Phi Phi and Phuket. So the ferry makes a stop in Phi Phi Island and then it goes further to Phuket. Maybe on some tours you have to switch the ferries there. It's pretty nice or pretty funny there. They do the ferries together on the ocean, and then you leave the ferry to another ferry to Phuket, and yeah, then you go to Phuket and the other ferry goes to the beach of Phi Phi Island. So that's looks a bit chaotic when you do it the first time, but it's actually quite simple. So that's it for my Koh Lanta video guide here, and as promised I will also help you a bit more to find this nice beach here. It's actually at the Klung Kung beach, or north from the Klung Kung beach. So there's north of the Klung Kung beach there is the 7-Eleven, and if you drive a bit more north from the 7-Eleven to the left, you will find like a red road. It's not a real street, it's not like made of stone, it's like sand. And there is like a secret beach that's usually also pretty quiet, and yeah, some people go there. And around that area, around that beach, you can find that small beach where I am right now. So watch on Google Maps in the north of Klung Kung beach, there you can easily find it. But you have to find your way to access this beach, because it's not directly at a street or something. You really have to walk a bit through the bushes here. There are actually 3 ways to go here, so I'm pretty sure you will find one. And the video doesn't stop now. I will actually put in some more scenes of Koh Lanta, a little cut together of that island, so that you can see a bit more of that beauty. And if you haven't done yet, then hit the subscribe button to watch my other travel videos. I actually published some other videos of Koh Lanta before, the 4-island tour, the snorkeling tour to Koh Rock, and also the emerald pool close to Krabi. So also check these videos out to see a bit more.